Yes, hello, welcome back. Hope you're doing very well. We're going to jump straight into this story. No messing about. Make sure you're hitting the like and the share button. I want you to share this with many of your friends, family, United fans, rival fans as you can, because for me, this story about Joel Glazer and the Glazers, the owners, the board, blocking the Jadon Sancho deal. I saw the headlines today and I thought, oh, you know what? That's terrible. We know we've got bad owners. Are they pulling away the deal of the century for us? And then you delve into what's actually been said, and it's really, really interesting. So hit that like button, hit that share button. We're going to delve into it. Of course, I want your views and your opinions. But this is the headline. I'll go for what I've read here. We'll go for what I've read, and then I'll give you my opinion. It says the Glazers stand firm on Sancho's stance at United, not Woodward. So the first thing I thought of is, Woodward's now being missed. Like they're taking blame away from Woodward. They're taking blame away from Ollie for this deal potentially not being done. It's the first thing I thought. He said Joel Glazer is not keen on Man United meeting Borussia Dortmund's demands for Jadon Sancho this summer as negotiations continue. Sancho bagged 20 goals and 18 assists in all competitions. The Red Devils have been heavily linked with Sancho over the last year or so, but a deal now looks unlikely, with Dortmund saying he will stay until the end of next season. Well, if it's unlikely because he's staying until the end of next season, all this talk is arbitrary anyway. It says there have been some doubts raised as to whether Man United need to bring him in at all. I don't know what person has doubted that. I very much doubt that's happening at the club. It says, and now The Athletic has shed further light on negotiations between Dortmund and Man United, with a gap in valuation, salary, and agent fees remaining. It says, Executive Vice Chairman Ed Woodward and Head of Corporate Development Matt Judge have been leading the negotiations for the Glazers, but it is the Glazers who are standing firm on United's position. He says the Glazers have expressed reluctance to reach Dortmund's 120 million euro asking price, plus additional costs of salary and commissions that are said to be significant. And of course they are. The article in The Athletic adds that insiders think that Jadon Sancho is worth 120 million, even in the climate, because of potential decade of football before him. Now, let's just... Anyone see the big elephant in the room here? Anyone see the big, gigantic, massive elephant in the room? I'll explain it to you. Liverpool are not prepared to pay £30 million for Thiago. Manchester City are not prepared to pay £70 million for Koulibaly. Chelsea are not prepared to pay 70-80 million for Rice, 70-80 million for Chilwell, 70-80 million for Kai Havertz. Arsenal are not willing to pay 45 million, 42 to 43 to 45 million pound for Thomas Partey. Why are articles not being put out about them that their owners or their top brasses are blocking the moves? Everything about this deal is normal. This article is normal. Man United are trying to drive a colossal price down. I don't like the Glazers. I'm not a fan of how they have run this football club. I'm not a fan of the dividends they take out. I'm not a fan of the 1.8 billion pound they have taken out of this football club. But please do not allow the media, who I've gone from being a person that 2-3 years ago was attacking the media for their articles. Now I'm applauding them. Don't allow them to have you on strings with this. The Glazers' involvement, if it's even true, at this point, every other story is being treated like a PR stunt. Suddenly, this story is the gospel truth. The Glazers have stopped it. Oh my God! Yesterday's story is about there being no personal terms agreed. Nah, that's nonsense. Stories a week earlier that the deal's over. Nonsense. Stories a week before that we're looking at alternatives. Nonsense. This one must be true. This one has to be true. Why? Because it feeds my incessant want for negativity about my football club. This United right now are doing what every single other football club in England is doing with their big summer 2020 deals, trying to drive the price down. And the vendors are doing what every club selling a major player are trying to do in the summer of 2020, and that is raise the prices up. How can you not see this? It is as clear as my fading hairline. It is. It's like the nose upon the end of my face. It's clear. I can see it. I can see Miuta. I understand people's frustration. I understand people's negativity. And I understand that this could actually be true. Joel Glazer might say, we're not paying 120 million euros up front and the salary and the bonuses and the agent fees. We simply can't afford that and land our other targets. What would you rather? If we need 4 players, what would you rather? Jadon Sancho, that's it, or the 3 other individuals that are going to make our squad better? I think the Glazers and Woodward and Ollie might be right to say we need a left back, we need 2 midfielders, and we need Sancho. If we get Sancho and not the others, we'll improve from an attacking point of view, but the strength in depth won't be challenged. You know, maybe they want to get these other deals done as well. There's logic to this. If we can get to a point where we're not parting ways with 120 million pound in one lump sum, and we can say put 70, 80 down to start with, million pounds here, and use the other 50, 60 million pounds that isn't going into this deal in the short term, or maybe 20, 30 million, sorry, you can use that to land other people. Surely this is logic. Surely you want your club to work this way. Surely you don't want your club to just bend over backwards. We keep praising all the other clubs for their transfer deals, how they negotiate, how they stand strong. But when our guys do it, you're suckered in by these negative head. Oh, my owners are terrible. Why? Because they're trying to negotiate the price down. Bruv, you said 2 minutes ago that Arsenal, Liverpool and Chelsea were brilliant because they were trying to get the price down. Think about it. For 1 second, take your head out of your bum and think about it. Oh, my word. Listen, we may not end up getting this deal. The Glazers could block it. I'm telling you now, some other big deals are not going through either. But what the media know is if they say Glazers block the deal, it's mad. And you know what? The same people moaning will buy their season tickets, will buy the merchandise, will buy the jogging bottoms, will buy the tracksuits, will buy the t-shirts, will buy the products, and then moan about how the Glazers spend the money. Listen, I'm not moaning about them anymore because I'm at a point where I've said what I need to say, right? If you're against the Glazers, stand up and make yourself count and stop whining and crying and booing and hooing, and don't buy the merch. Turn your back on the club until they sell it. Make a stance, make a movement. Don't be a hypocrite. But equally, don't hypocrisize yourself on the other end. I want us to stand firm. I want us to get the right pricing sales. I want us to negotiate prices down. I don't want us to be bent over backwards. And then when they try to do that, no, please just pay the money. Please. Can't you please yield? Please roll over and let them tickle your belly. What do you want? Madness. Absolute madness. Genuine madness. I can't even believe it. I can't even believe it. I can't even believe it. It's crazy for me how people are so suckered in like this. So suckered in every single time. Every single time. I find it staggering. Let's do some of your live comments here. We've got another 5 minutes to go on this stream. It says United fans should focus on spending money on the defense. Maybe they should. And that's not my issue here. My issue is nobody wants to look for alternatives or wants to think about this from a different point of view. It's all just negative. Terry, you're moaning right now. I'm moaning about people being suckered in by this. I'm laughing at people being suckered in by. I'm not moaning about the deal and the dealings. I want my club to be strong. So for me to want my club to stand up for themselves in transfer negotiations, I have to back them when they're being strong in transfer negotiations. What I can't do is allow my integrity to be challenged and my morality to be challenged based on the play that they're negotiating for. So whether it's a player I want or a player I do not want from a personal preference, I cannot yield on my integrity if I want my club to stand up for itself in transfer deals. You can't do that. That isn't how life works. That isn't how life works. You know, you've got to have a fair approach to this, but people don't. It's a madness here. It's just crazy. I cannot understand for the life of me. Listen, the most credible football journalists in the world have been telling you all for 3 weeks now, this is a public transfer negotiation. Deal with it. Yes, we know the Glazers are hemorrhage money from the club. Yes, we know they're not the best owners in the world, but there's nothing about this deal that's strange. Every club's owners have got a problem with the big money signings they're going after this summer. That's why no big signings have happened so far this summer. That's why they're all still in negotiations. That's why there's still 10, 20, 30 million pound differentials between the asking price and the bid price. They're all doing it. Wake up, smell the coffee for once. Don't be suckered in and make it eat. Listen, respect to the journalists for getting you triggered. Respect for the journalists for getting you triggered on this. Why are you falling for it? Why are you rolling over 3 times a day and having your belly tickled? I've actually seen people say things like, I'm not even looking forward to the start of the season. We're going to go backwards. It's going to fall apart. We're going to be rubbish. My word. My word. Absolutely staggering. We've got a Man United show tonight, 9 o'clock. I can't wait for it. I don't know what the boys' views and opinions are on this, but I'm going in. We're going to open the phone lines then to know what you're all thinking and feeling. Smash the like button, hit the share button, download Flick right about now. Let's do a few more comments here. Terry, you were completely missing the point. The Glazers won't allow United to spend 120 million when that's what it takes to get Sancho. But that isn't true. They won't. They may not allow it to be done in a lump sum. And why would they not? See, this is what you got to understand, Jeremiah, my guy. Final thing I'm going to say on this. Man United have bid 120 million euros, or they've suggested they would pay that. It may not be an official bid. 70, 30, 20. They're prepared to pay it, but they want to pay part of it in installments and part of it as add-ons. They're prepared to part of it. The reason clubs do that is so they don't have the initial outlay of all that cash leaving the business, leaving the football club instantly. That enables you to sign 2 or 3 signings at once. Because if you get them all on deals like that, on their relative scales, you can sign 3 or 4 players in one summer. If you had to pay cash for every player you bought, you'd never be able to sign 3 or 4 players in one summer if you weren't selling people for significant prices. United have made the suggestion they're willing to pay 120 million. They just don't want to part with the whole amount of cash in one go. So it isn't. No points being missed. Man United are trying to get the deal agreed in a structured way. Dortmund are pushing for that structure to be more in their favour. It's negotiations. And if it doesn't happen, then yes, you could argue the Glazers have stopped it. But then we've stopped loads of other deals that have been too expensive. If Man United say to Barca, how much for Messi, and they say 200 million, and the Glazers say we can't afford it, that's them blocking the deal. But are they blocking it for the right reasons? If they're blocking it because it cripples us financially and we can't sign anybody else for ages, isn't that a positive if we've got to sign 3 or 4 players to strengthen our squad? Because one, even Jadon Sancho, cannot be enough. Cannot be enough. You're saying it's not enough. So now you want them to do a deal that means we can't sign enough players. Can you see the flaw in your logic? It doesn't make any sense. None. There isn't one. It's illogical. Illogical to think like that. Madness. Absolute madness. Cut the super chats here. Says, to be fair to fans, just for a moment, we're bombarded with negative stories every day about the deal. It's hard to know what to think anymore. Nick P, I get that, bruv. And that's why it's worth listening to things like the United Stand and ourselves. We're not news outlets. We don't make these stories up. We don't break these stories. We simply provide a digital or video-based forum for people to talk about them. But trust me, this deal is not how people are making it out. Yesterday, there was no personal terms agreed. They're saying that. The day before that, there was no offer been made. Now there has been an offer, but we're blocking it. Like every day it changes. It doesn't make any sense other than the fact that this is just a PR stunt from everybody. Hi, Terry. I've watched Sam's video on the United People's TV regarding United's financial projections. A very interesting insight. Yeah, I listened to Sam's stuff. I agree with quite a bit of what he said. Got my own take on this as well. But for me, I'm not even reading into it that deep. Man United don't want to give 120 million euros of cash out instantly. Why would they? They wouldn't. No club wants to do that. They will fight tooth and nail not to. Especially if it hampers us signing another 2 or 3 players that we know we'll need. Because you're going to cry about that as well. Imagine we do it and then go, there's no money left for anybody else. Oh, no. Moan. Whatever they do, you're going to moan. Yellow underbelly, man. Listen, hit the like button, hit the share button, and we'll see you all again very, very soon. Take